Hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope y'all had a good day out there. Man, this day almost slipped away from me. It's 4 o'clock when I'm getting this video shot. We've just had a rainy, gray day, and it's going to rain, probably rain for the next couple of days. And yeah, I laid down for a little while, and I just feel kind of drunk, actually. This weather, man, just makes you tired, want to do nothing. But anyhow, today I want to talk about common problems on the raw vegan lifestyle, actually cooked vegan too. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you are not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you'd go over or go down and hit that subscribe button now, and be sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, I don't know. This was actually kind of nice. I'm not complaining. This was just almost a write-off day. It's gone. I haven't really gotten anything done, but we haven't had a good rainy day in a while, so it's all good. Problems. You know, I was watching somebody else's video yesterday, and I forgot what it was. It wasn't about problems per se. It was probably about, but I think a particular problem popped up during the topic of conversation, and I was just like, wow, this is like so simple. I mean, that's about as easy as it gets. You know, some of these things are really just common sense, and that's one thing I'll leave you with. I'll start with right there. Anytime you're trying to solve a problem on this lifestyle, we're still eating food. Use your common sense. A lot of times you can, you know, and use, I like Occam's razor, don't go looking for crazy ass stuff. And that's what'll happen a lot if you ask too many of these raw vegans about things. They go way, way, way out in left field, when a lot of times there's probably just a simple answer. There's always some dark, deep thing like, well, you have to detox before this happens and that happens, and then you're like, oh Jesus. One of the biggest problems is simply bad food combining. And you know, I get questions on food combining, and I'm not able to answer very many of them because I just keep it simple. That's the easiest way for me to do this lifestyle. I don't know exactly everyone and all the proper combining rules, but I just kind of know it by feel, if that makes any sense to you. In other words, it's just kind of natural to me. Now, it doesn't mean that I follow every combining rule 100%. I do everything perfectly, but I don't have to. I mean, there's some fruit combinations that technically they are not a combination, or you're not supposed to combine them. But I've done them and they don't give me any problems. Another one too is a lot of fat with fruit. And I'm generally about, okay, yeah, don't combine too much fruit with fat. But yeah, every once in a while I like to, you know, especially with my mango, I'll add a little bit of tahini in with that. So, you know, when I'm saying something, I'm never like, don't hold me to that 100%. There's always little exceptions and whatever. But yeah, bad food combining is the biggest problem I see most people making. Just, you know, eating. And you know what? Just always simplify a little bit more. Like, I'll get something, it's almost like I have flashbacks to being in school. Somebody will send me a message or make a comment, and it's just like, you know, well, I had this, and this, and I had this later, and I had this, and I'm like, well, it's almost like I'm trying to do a math problem, a word problem or something in my head, and I'm like, well, I don't know, because I'm never going to add that many things in. So I'm not going to go looking for answers for somebody else. It just doesn't have any application for me. I just don't go mixing a whole ton of things. I eat lots of mono meals. I eat lots of real simple meals like banana and mango. I just don't, even my smoothies, there's always somebody that will say, hey, why don't you throw this into your smoothie? And I'm like, no, I've got my smoothies down, and I don't want to just put more stuff in just to put more stuff in. That's what a lot of people do. They're like, well, I want to get, and I know you get a little excited. I want to get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this. So just look into it, and there's no reason for me to go through combining. Just search here or on Google, raw vegan food combining, plant-based food combining, and it's easy. In fact, if you do it on Google and you go into images, you'll probably see some good charts that'll give you the answers just like that. Not eating enough. Always, always, always. That's one of the biggest problems on this lifestyle. Everybody thinks they're doing a diet like they've done before. This ain't the Atkins diet. This ain't Jenny Craig. We're not restricting. I know that's the natural inclination, especially if you're trying to lose weight, but people get tripped up. And the reason I'm saying people get that's a problem not eating enough is people, they don't eat enough, and then that causes them to kind of go off the deep end and then overcorrect and eat too much or eat something really bad. But another problem too is when we're not eating enough. That's when we're getting that's when we're really not getting the nutrients that we need, because on this the nature provides everything we need in the fruits and vegetables, but we have to eat enough to get all the things to need, to get all that protein we need, to get all that calcium to need. We need to just have, you know, we need to be eating enough food. If we're not eating enough food, we're not getting enough nutrients. That's basically, the bottom line, a very shortened version of the book Whole by T. Colin Campbell, that if we're eating enough calories for our size and our activity level, and we're getting enough variety, then we're also getting enough nutrients too. Then we're getting what we need, and we don't have to be chasing it around like, oh, do I have to eat this today? Oh, do I eat that? Just eating enough food, simply. Not enough variety, and too much fat. Let me talk about too much fat first. Too much fat, that just causes people problems all over the place, because you're not going to get the true effects of this lifestyle when you're banging it out with high fat. Also too, that's where the blood sugar issues come in if you're trying to eat a lot of fruit and the high fat. And listen, I don't even want to go step into that, because I know nothing about Candida, but I think that's another problem, is too many people. As I think some people that are having problems with Candida out there, and I could be totally wrong in the wrong direction, but I think so many people with problems with even Candida, yes, it's the fruit, but they're also just eating too much fat with that, and then you create a fungal nightmare in there, and then that's where it really gets over my head. I don't even, when people ask me about Candida, I'm like, oh, you need to go to somebody else on that. And going back to not enough variety, I've got my trusty notes here. Going back to not enough variety, that just kind of goes back to that reiterates what I was talking about from the book Whole. That concept about eating enough. If we're eating enough food and we're getting enough of variety, a lot of the colors of the rainbow, then we're closer. We should be getting all of our nutrients. Being fanatic. That's a huge problem. And like I said, when I said cooked vegan too, these can all be kind of applied, like just think of them, you know, with different ways, like as far as bad combining, and I'll get to that in a minute where it comes to a cook perspective. But being fanatic, just being fanatic about anything. You can be too fanatic with your cooked food as well. And the reason being a fanatic is such a problem is because I see all the time people break because they won't bend. In other words, like we've seen it before, the fully raw thing. Got to be fully raw. I'm going to be 100%. Anything less than 100% is a failure. Hanging on, hanging on, hanging on. You know you're about to slip. We've all seen those people, you know, whether they have a channel or just somebody you're connected to on social media. You see the slip, you see them slipping away, and you see it coming. And that's why I believe it is a lot of the time, because they're trying to be too fanatic. And the people that are the most fanatic, go back and check this out. Over the course of my 7 years, the people that have to tap out and they're not raw anymore, tap out, I'm not vegan anymore, a large majority of those were the most fanatic about it. And I think that's why they're so angry when the lifestyle ends up not working for them, and then they come out and do these angry oh, this lifestyle almost wrecked my life, blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, sometimes, and I don't ever respond to anything, I just go dig into them a little bit. I dig into their background, I see how they were eating, and I'm like, okay, well, I understand. You weren't doing it right, not even remotely. Constipation and bloating. Now, that can come from bad food combining as well, but it also comes from the simple fact that when we get on this raw vegan lifestyle, or even just when we switch from a standard American diet to a whole food plant-based diet, you're probably taking in way more fiber than you ever have in your whole life. And yes, fiber is good. Fiber keeps that system moving. But sometimes the body has to adjust to be able to process all that fiber. So it takes just a little while to get used to that. And that's just for some people. That's not for all people. I know some people start eating fruit and it goes through them almost like from the very beginning. So that's just a few problems that I can think of. They're all solvable. I mean, when I see people struggling or when I see people falling off, it's just usually, you know, it's just they're not making adjustments, you know. I'll end with a sports analogy. You always see the people on, like, watch a basketball game, even if you're not into basketball. Everybody on the side over there, they'll have these boards. They're constantly adjusting. They're constantly making a plan. Well, that's what you've got to do. When you see something, when it's football, you know, the defense is over there and they adjust to things they see on the offense. Well, you do that with your lifestyle as well. You do that with your eating as well. You adjust to it. So anyhow, just a few. Hope those will help. If you like this one today, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.